Hello YouTube, this is Captain Omni, and I'm coming at you with a bit of a topic video here. And as you can tell by the title, it is something that I've been noticing more and more of. And that is, Marvel doesn't know what to do with the Squadron Supreme. And really, let me give you a backstory here. I do really like the Squadron Supreme. I really do. I know the whole thing. Oh, they're the Justice League, except they're not. And to me, that's kind of why I like them. You can actually play a lot with these characters. Because you have the same basic archetypes as the Justice League. You have Hyperion, the Superman, Power Princess, the Wonder Woman, Dr. Spectrum, the Green Lantern, Whizzer or Blur, depending on which version, as the Flash, Nighthawk as the Batman. And really, it's like you have a lot of these, but you have all this, and yet like most people just look at them point like face value and go, oh, it's the Justice League, except it's not, and they're in Marvel. And which really some of this does go back to the idea that they were originally the Squadron Sinister, and they were like supposed to be this other dimensional like team that the Grand Master brought in to like fight the Avengers. But like really the thing that really made them come into their own is when Mark Grunwald, R.I.P. right there, decided wanted to do a series with them, like the original 12-issue maxi series Squadron Supreme. And his idea with it was, he was a lifelong DC fan, worked at Marvel, but he was a lifelong fan of the JLA. So his basic idea was, okay, you know what? I'm gonna use these characters that are basically like the Justice League, and I'm gonna take them in areas where DC really won't go with them. He's going basically that Mark Grunwald saw the potential in the Squadron Supreme. That they are. Just because they're made in that same mold doesn't mean that they're beholden to anything. Granted, Marvel already used them as bad guys beforehand, like on Squadron Sinister, okay, so that's kind of like run into the ground a little bit, if you ask me. Plus, I think we've had enough evil Justice Leagues, between the Boys and Injustice, and but really, I think Marvel. A lot of people at Marvel really have really overlooked what you could do with the Squadron Supreme, because in the Squadron Supreme series, they were on their own Earth, they had a version of Earth, but even then, even if you put them like a version of the team in the mainstream Marvel universe, they could still easily work as their own thing. You could use for instance, Hyperion, he's essentially the Superman, but he's not 100% Superman. He's still got the same kind of generally speaking, Hyperion can range from being straight Superman, just pure, unfiltered Superman, to kind of being more of a jerk, to basically being this more as Jonathan Hickman did it when he brought him in for his Avengers run, this more alien Superman who was raised in an alternate universe version of Earth and has this more alien outlook. He's still a good guy, but basically he's more like if Superman was raised on Krypton for most of his life and then came to Earth. Still a great guy, still a really good guy, but has that more alien outlook. And that's just in one example. Power Princess, she actually, in the original Squadron series, it was actually stated she comes from an island that is made up of the Utopian Island, where basically her people are basically that Earth's version, Earth 7112, that is, are basically that Earth's version of the Inhumans. They were ancient humans that were experimented on by the Kree, except instead of getting a bunch of mixed-matched powers and needing to mutate, they basically all had the same power. Super strength, basically immortal, high durability, that kind of thing. Basically, and they've achieved a total utopia. So they're so her thing is even more than Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's about teaching peace. basically she's Power Princess's whole thing was trying to teach, like lead by example to like for the rest of the world to be a utopia. Uh, which again is it's similar to Wonder Woman, but still at the same time though she doesn't necessarily have the warrior aspect to her. You could easily do that. Which most versions just go with, oh yeah, she's a straight warrior, she's a Wonder Woman knockoff. Even Supreme Power, the Max version, or the Max slash Ultimate version, basically went, yeah, she's just a warrior, doesn't really care about anything except a good fight, that kind of thing. But even the original take was she didn't really have that warrior aspect to her. She was like, okay, you know what? Which again makes her a lot different than Wonder Woman. Basically, at the cores of these characters so far, for most of them, are a bit different. Like they're archetypes in the same vein, but they're not necessarily the same characters. I mean, for instance, Nighthawk in the original Squadron run, his father was actually a mob boss. He like made his fortune by being like a master criminal. Nighthawk found out about it, decided, okay, I'm going to fight crime. I'm going to like stop as much crime as I can, and because to make up for that, for all the blood my father spilled. That is an interesting take on Batman. His parents are still alive, even. He's just like, okay, he becomes a vigilante just to do that. Basically the whole point is, I feel like Heroes Reborn really has, and even before Heroes Reborn, Jason Aaron's run with the Squadron basically meaning, oh yeah, we're the Squadron Supreme of America, and it turns out they're just creations of Mephisto due to a deal because Agent Coulson is evil in Marvel at the moment. And yeah, basically the whole thing is like, to me that really undermines what the Squadron can be, because again, it's like you're taking these characters that, okay, DC actually did try to sue Marvel over the Supreme Power Max series, because hey, this is way too similar to our characters, and the courts even decided, yeah, no, these characters have been around this long, you've lost all rights to sue. You can't sue them for this. So yeah, basically it's gotten to the point where it's like, yeah, Marvel, you can do more with them now. You have like yeah, because basically as soon as they got the notion that, oh wait, we actually can't be sued for even like promoting these guys a lot, crap, let's go for it. That should have been your reaction to that, because again, you can do a lot more with them. I mean, for instance, if nothing else, you can do them in their own universe, like a side universe. And I think a lot of DC fans kind of be fine with it, because it would be a DC universe that's devoid of the one thing that every DC fan hates: DC editorial. That's your strength right there. Yeah, yeah, a DC universe where you don't have to put up with DC editorial. Sure, you've got Marvel editorial, but at the very least, the universe probably won't be rebooted every few months. Yeah, looking forward to that new Crisis, DC. Yeah, really looking forward to that next Crisis that you're already planning, even though you kind of already got through with one. But again, like, there are so many ways you could play these characters, and I really don't think Marvel gets that they can do more with them. I mean, and now I'm not saying, I mean, let's look at it this way. We're currently having a lot of DC-based characters crop up and stuff. I mean, okay, you have Invincible, the Guardians of the Globe, and Omni-Man, essentially Superman and the Justice League. You have The Boys, which is essentially like Garth Ennis's Justice League. Yeah, right there with the Seven. You've got Jupiter's Legacy, which is basically focused around like a version of Superman and the remnants of his Justice League. Basically, what I'm saying is there's been a lot of adaptations recently, like in recent years even, that kind of goes with, this is our take on the Justice League, and the reason for that ultimately is the Justice League is a lot more iconic. Now, before anyone else gets on top of me, I love Marvel, I love the Avengers, but my point is, like, okay, there's like stronger senses of archetypes with the Justice League. Like, okay, you can like strong guy, cape, Superman, super strong, uh, like a super strong lady, Wonder Woman, guy with a power item that flies, Green Lantern. There's more identifiable, like, okay, traits that you kind of automatically go to for these, that you kind of automatically relate to back to the Justice League. My point being, Marvel could easily do something with that with the Squadron. I would actually love to see a new version of the Squadron Supreme universe be done. Because I mean, the original series introduced their own villains, like the Institute of Crime, which was essentially led by Master Menace, which is essentially, think 70% Lex Luthor, 20% Doctor Doom, with a like 20% Doctor Doom with a like maybe 10% pre-crisis Lex, like where he's just a mad scientist. And his whole thing is like he's an anarchist, he's a master criminal who, yeah, he believes that, anarchism is the way to go. Crime is the way to go. Which is why he basically just is a career criminal. He's one of the, like, basically he's a career criminal that could be rich off his stuff legitimately, but he just doesn't want to, because he believes that crime and anarchy is the way to go. Which really is this was back in the 80s, and that was even before you started getting villains that needed to have some deeper motivation for what they do. And really that was kind of, which, don't get me wrong, villains can have deep motivation, I'm not knocking that, but sometimes it is just good to have a bad guy that's like, yeah, I'm evil, I like what I do, and yeah, no, it doesn't matter if I could get paid to do this. I like robbing people and making their lives miserable. I'm evil. And some people might say that's not really realistic. I'm like, really? You're going to say that's not realistic with the amount of sociopaths in the world? Really? Really, you're going to say that? But again, it's like, basically the whole end of the day, I think Marvel could stand to do more with the Squadron Supreme. I really do. It's gotten to the point where it's like, okay, because here's another thing. The movies. Marvel has consistently been shown, like, okay, they're doing the Eternals now. They've done Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going to get Fantastic Four. We're going to get X-Men. But here's the thing. The MCU has a proven track record of taking characters and properties that are not really that well known. Like, the Avengers were kind of well known around, to most, like, non-comic reading people. They were kind of well known. Mostly through Iron Man, which people didn't really get Iron Man that much. They just, oh yeah, the guy in the metal suit, at most. Or thinking he was based on the or people thinking like the Black Sabbath song was based on it. Yeah, no, it wasn't. Basically, going in, you had Captain America, which people kind of knew of. You had Iron Man, which people kind of knew of. You had the Hulk, which everyone knew of. And you had Thor, which, again, people that know mythology know of Thor, but then, oh wait, he was a comic book character? Oh, alright. Which, again, Thor's biggest exposure to most people as a comic character, definitely, like Marvel's version, definitely came from Adventures in Babysitting. Sad as that might be. But, again, it's like they're taking all these characters that are, and again, the Guardians of the Galaxy. They brought them in. Even a lot of comic fans weren't necessarily like, oh yeah, the Guardians, they're a thing. Are they a thing? Like, some comic fans, like, they were kind of that niche team, because not even every comic fan really knew of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And they're doing the Eternals, which again, some people know of the Eternals, like in comic fandom, but not necessarily everyone. And they're even less known than the Guardians were. And again, Shang-Chi. Sure, he's been showing up a lot more, but again, at the same time, he's kind of a new guy to pop culture. The point is, I think they can stand to do a Squadron Supreme show. I mean, because they're already opening up the multiverse. They're already opening up the multiverse, and like Loki's even going to be exploring that, which really you could easily do. And I think that would be interesting to see done. Maybe not a straight adaptation of the Squadron Supreme one, but like definitely something you could do, like maybe a mix of Supreme Power, except maybe obviously not nearly as adult oriented, because really I don't think Marvel is going to do that. And I mean adult, like full frontal nudity, brains being exploded on panel. Yeah, that is the Supreme Power version. But maybe a mix of that and something else, because again, I really do think that the Squadron Supreme has this untapped potential. And keep in mind, DC stole a lot of stuff from the Squadron Supreme series. Frank Miller's idea that Batman and Superman wouldn't be friends? Yeah, that came from that. Yeah, and Hyperion and Nighthawk didn't get along. Granted, in that series, it was established that they didn't really team up that much and really didn't hang out really, so outside of Squadron business. So really, there was more sense that they wouldn't, because Nighthawk didn't really have that strong relationship with them anyway, so they really weren't friends. And again, like the whole idea of superheroes taking over the world to make it a better place. In the Squadron comic, in the original Squadron series, they do that because their world was basically thrown into chaos when Overmind, their version of Brainiac, kind of like tried to take over, wreck the world, all the governments, so the Squadron tried to take over temporarily to fix everything and improve things. Didn't go right. But still, they did this kind of okay, we're going to do this just to like get everyone back on their feet. Well, it worked. It worked a little too well, but I'm not going to spoil that series if you haven't read it, which I do recommend you reading. Anyone listen to this, if you do recommend, I do recommend that everyone go read the original Squadron series. Really good stuff. But again, that whole idea of superheroes taking over the world, and even Nighthawk ended up forming resistance. So basically, it's the Justice League trying to take over the Earth, and Batman forming a resistance. Where have we heard that before? Oh yeah, Injustice. So yeah, basically a lot of it is just, DC stole a lot from it. But the thing with that, though, is that just proves the amount of potential the Squadron has to actually have an impact on stuff. And again, going back to the whole thing of, well, they're not really that strong characterization, but here's the thing. You can play them you don't have to play them exactly like the Justice League. You could have Hyperion be a giant doof. Sure, a smart guy, but you have him, you could play up the more nerdy aspects of, like what if Superman acted more like Clark Kent when he was Superman, or, again, going back to the Hickman take, was a more alien-type Superman that had more of an alien mindset, or basically any number of things you could do. But yeah, basically, comment below and let me know. Do you guys think the Squadron Supreme deserves to have more of a prominent place in Marvel at this point? Because let's be honest, Marvel, Marvel keeps cranking out stuff, they're going to be digging more and more for content, team stuff and stuff. I don't necessarily see a Squadron movie working, but a TV show. Yeah, I could definitely see a Squadron-based show working. Who knows? But anyway, because apparently there are rumors that the Squadron is going to show up in the Loki show. That'd be interesting. That'd be a way to get them in. I kind of hope that's true. But anyway, this has been Captain Omni, signing off.